Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that all members be given 5 days to revise and extend their remarks.
Objection.
Also, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to enter into the record a statement on tonight's CBC special order from the Honorable Eddie Bernice Johnson of Texas.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by welcoming our new members by thanking Congresswoman Marcia Fudge for her leadership of the Congressional Black Caucus during the 113th Congress. Thanks to your dedication and tireless work, this caucus is better positioned to address the diverse challenges of African American communities. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the new CBC chair, the Honorable Congressman G.K. Butterfield of North Carolina. I'm confident you will do a great job leading this caucus with steadfast commitment to justice and to building an America that works for everyone. Let me also thank my counterpart, the Honorable Congresswoman Robin Kelly, for joining me in leading the CBC Special Orders this year. I am truly honored to take on this new role, and I look forward to working with you as we help carry out the critical mission of this caucus. Mr. Speaker, 50 years ago, in the midst of the civil rights movement, hundreds of brave men and women gathered in Selma, Alabama to begin a long, arduous march to Montgomery in support of fundamental truth that every American, regardless of what they look like, has the right to vote. On March 7, 1965, 600 men and women set out from Selma following the death of 26-year-old Jimmy Lee Jackson, a deacon from Marion, Alabama, who died from gunshot wounds inflicted by a state trooper at a nonviolent demonstration. Theirs was a peaceful, nonviolent march, but it was met with fierce brutality. It would take the marchers 2 more attempts to arrive in Montgomery, but on March 25th, after a 12-day journey, they did arrive. Since that day, our country has made significant strides in achieving equality and justice for all, but significant challenges remain unmet. Tonight, we will examine where we have come from, where we are, and where we would like to go as a society. We must be ready to go. In 1965, Selma became the focal point of voter registration efforts in the South. At the time, only 2% of the city's eligible African American voters had been able to register. The impact of Selma to Montgomery March was profound. As Dr. King said, Selma produced the voting rights legislation of 1965. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 banned discriminatory voting requirements that disenfranchise African American voters throughout this country. And yet, today, the dream of full equality is still something many African Americans can only dream of. Where we are, nearly 6 years after the end of the recession, people still struggle to find work, and the gap between the rich and poor continues to grow. For African Americans, this situation is severe, given the disproportionate effect of unemployment on our communities. At the same time, there remains widespread poverty, a defining challenge of our time. This persistent economic inequality threatens to undercut the gains that African American communities have made, and it undermines the idea of economic mobility, the idea that if you work hard in this country and have ambition, you can get ahead. The economic crisis is not only facing African American communities. Where we are in education. Education is the most important economic investment we can make now and for future generations. Yet, across the country, we still have seen cuts to education at all levels and attacks on critical programs like Head Start and Pell Grants. These attacks undermine the ability of African Americans to get ahead. That is why I strongly support President Obama's new bold initiative for free access to community colleges. So too do efforts to dismantle social safety nets programs which our communities depend on. Those efforts are irresponsible, unjust, and contrary to who we are as Americans. The Congressional Black Caucus will make criminal justice reform a centerpiece of our agenda. We will work to reduce the epidemic of poverty in this country. We will work to create educational opportunities for African American children, and we will support efforts to strengthen our 105 historically black colleges and universities. The CBC also remains committed to fighting against efforts to dismantle the social safety net. We are determined to restore Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act and to make sure everyone, regardless of what they look like or where they come from, has equal access to the polls. And we resolve to ensure that increasing diversity in this nation is reflected in the American corporations. Together, these policies will bring us closer as a nation where we're empowered the communities of African Americans, and they will benefit from the full equality and live the American dream. There is no doubt that we are in difficult times in this nation. Injustices are widespread and threaten some of our most fundamental rights. But we will find no answers in apathy, no comfort in complacency. As we always have, we will continue the march for progress, for freedom, and for justice and equality for all. And Mr. Speaker, it is my honor and privilege now that I yield to the distinguished gentlelady from Illinois, Ms. Robin Kelly.